that my background check came up, and they're like, hey, yeah, there's this thing that you need to look at, and we need to know what's going on with it. And I'm like, holy crap, I need to get that taken care of. I need to look at that. And so I did. I straight up was like, I'm going to look into this and figure out what's what and what I need to do to get taken care of. So I did, I, got an attorney, and I'm figuring it all out, and, I'm going to present the court with everything that they need. It was a long time ago. I mean, not that long ago, but the fact is I'm owning that situation because it did happen. And, I'm going to go through the motions, and it's not going to be the end of the world. I'm not going to drink over it. That thought has not even crossed my mind. And you would think it would have, but it's not. It's just like, and if anything, it's making me just realize, like, no way. There's no way that this little thing is going to take me down, because it's totally not worth it. So I'm going to sort through it all, and everything's going to end up okay. I'm confident. My higher power is here for me through this whole thing too. I've been praying about it, and I got people who support me and people that believe in me, and I'm not going to let anybody down. Myself being the first and foremost. It's kind of like reality kind of creeps up on you, and, your past sometimes will kind of sneak back in these tricky ways to remind you, like, where you came from. But if you remember where you are today and celebrate that and hold on to that and focus on that, then things are going to be okay. So I'm going to get to the other side of this, and I'm not going to stress about it, But I think that bringing it out and bringing it up is totally the right thing to do for me, because you know what? I'm ashamed of the fact that it happened, but it was a mistake that I made, and I'm just going to own it and handle it and move forward with it. And it's a lesson learned, it's part of my story that in some weird effed up way was a piece of how I got to where I am now. And I wouldn't change that for the world. So I'm good with that. And I'm grateful for everybody who's supporting me through all this, who doesn't look at me differently, who doesn't treat me differently, or, who's got faith in me, that realizes that I am strong and that I'll be okay. So thanks to all those people, you know who you are.
So let me recap this.
Oh, gosh.
All right, so you've been praying about it a lot, which is good. But you and the two women were not at a band camp, and you were doing bad stuff, and then you ended up in a purple truck with some stuff that you didn't need on your persons. Now, are you afraid of, what if it was more than what you thought? Or did they tell you how much they had, or how many,
I know
you said
how
they were
much.
going to test
I
it?
know how much I had. It was not a lot.
Okay, but
it was, yeah.
What if they test it and they're like, oh no, laws have changed?
Corey, can you just not do what you're doing?
Well, I'm just saying. I liked what you said about, now we got right now. The past is the past, yes, and you do sometimes have to own it. And it reminds me of a motivational video that Chris Goss sent me today on Facebook. It was When It Hurts. It's called When It Hurts, Best Motivational Speech Video. If you want... And he said he's been listening to it every morning. He kind of starts his day with that. It's a really good one. If you want to start your day with that, it's when you're feeling alone. And I don't want to say the whole thing, but it's a good one. When It Hurts. Look that up on YouTube. But that's what he says in there. He says, you gotta, there is the now. There's the past. There's the future. There's the now. And what are you doing right now? He said, there's the good times. There's the bad times, and there's now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, and you always say too, like, you'll make reference to like, hey, a year and a half ago today, do I think that I would be sitting here, with all these, wonderful things going on in my life, and all these blessings, and all of these awesome opportunities, and so many things, presenting themselves to me in my life. It's like, no, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine that. But it wasn't like all that long ago. But at the same time it was, to like almost look back and be like, look how far I've come. Look at all the things that I've done. And it's a good feeling. It's not a bad feeling. Mm-mm. It's really not. I'm actually like, I'm not saddened by it. I'm not fearful of talking about it. I'm not, I'm not hiding anything about, the person that I was. What I'm proud of is the person that I've become. And that's what I want to celebrate today.
Mm-hmm. And that's better than, and a lot of people, and I don't know if they do it on purpose, maybe they don't know it. I would like to think that when I was going through the stages and the phases that I was serious. I think that, I've talked about it before about there always being a part of me that thought, oh, I'll run off to California, get a radio job or something. But, when I would say I don't want to drink again, and maybe, I don't know, maybe obviously I wasn't that dedicated. Otherwise I would have probably quit then. But for you to not, be fake about it, or, to be committed to it, because you could have just taken this bad news and, oh no, and it could have went a totally different way.
Oh, for sure.
And not that you're proud of it, but yeah, you can't run from it. And did it happen? Sure. And it probably needed to happen. And you didn't really have this incident and then run off to rehab. I mean, you're still out there for a minute.
Yeah, no, it took me a minute. Like they say, everything happens for a reason. I mean, I truly do believe that. Like I said, did I think that was a pivotal moment, good or bad, in my decision to actually make some changes in my life? Maybe it was. You know what I mean? But whatever it was, like you said, it happened, and just being okay with just dealing with it is something that I couldn't have done back then, obviously. I mean, and the thing is it was weird. It was a weird thing. It was a weird situation, but, moving on.
So if someone has warrants out there, or they have something that's just out there, and maybe they're in the same situation, they're like, I don't know, this happened, I never really got anything, I'm not going to be up there going, hey, were you going to come take me and put me in jail? Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to raise their hand to that. But I mean, and you didn't call and be like, hey, this, it kind of, circumstances were boom. It happened when it happened, like they would say caught up to you. But I mean, that's when it came to light again. And of course, it really wasn't top of mind. If you got pulled over, you probably would have been like, oh, I wonder what's going on with that. But as far as like when you wake up in the morning, you're not like, hey, I wonder what's going on with that. I'm just going to walk on eggshells today. No. It was so long ago you're thinking, well, they must not want me that bad. They knew where I was living. They knew my address. I have a license, I mean, there's a lot of things. I've gotten an
apartment. I've gotten jobs. I've gotten, it was time, I guess. It was time for it to kind of come to light, and that's cool. So
if someone does have something like that out there, would you have them? I mean, I'm going to say,
no, I'm not going to lie. I don't know. I mean, there may be some repercussions. You know what I mean? Fines or fees, or I mean, when it really boils down to it. No, I'm serious.
They're gonna get their money.
When it really boils down to it, I mean, there's the steps that I've taken, the strides that I've taken towards my recovery. And don't get me wrong, every day is a step forward in my life. Working this program, working to live a sober life. It's not just a freaking silver platter. It's, it's diligence. It's, it's prayer. It's, hard work. And, but it gets easier, for me, it's gotten easier, but, there are no promises, there are those days that are going to come where you think about picking up, and you got to be ready for those. There's no you're never it's never completely something that is just off your mind. I would say that, just like you were talking about, you had thoughts even today.
Yeah.
It's not, it happens. You just got to be ready for them and know how to handle them. So
I guess just do your research when your time is right, or I don't know.
Yeah, I can't say.
You're gonna have to face the music at some point. If you're out there and you're like, man, I got this, I don't know.
Yeah, I would say starting, because that's the whole idea, right? Isn't the whole idea a fresh start? Kind of starting over. Starting your life again, figuring out who you are and who you want to be and what you want to do, and figuring out the things that you love, and actually doing those, because, without drugs or alcohol. And for the longest time, I couldn't imagine anything without drugs or alcohol. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what I liked. I didn't know what I was good at. I didn't, and to have to go back and figure all that stuff out is confusing and difficult and hard work. And so, yeah, if you got something that is in your past that's probably needs to be dealt with, in my case, it was legal system, but I don't know. Maybe it's just a personal thing. Maybe it's relationships. Maybe it's something, I think that just have faith and, have your best interests of your sobriety in mind and you as a person in mind. Everyone's situation is different. Mine is what it is, and I will let you know how it all rolls out, but the most thing, the thing that was really the most bothersome about this whole thing is that my daily interaction with the people that I know, in a professional, basis, and also family members or friends or whatever, you change your routine or, your presence or lack thereof. It pops up this question, with addicts and alcoholics is what happened to her? Their automatic go-to is she's back out.
Right.
They don't see you for a couple days. What's your first thought? She's, when somebody's off the grid, it's bad news. Nobody's heard from them. Has anybody heard anything? And that's totally not even close to being it. But yeah, because I don't know. Maybe I would have thought the same thing, So it's all fine. It's all fine and good. It's just something I got to do, face the music, whatever you want to call it. But
I'm gonna call it paying their money. So I'm gonna call it.
Yeah, there'd probably be some of that.
Oh, there'll be some money. I'll bet you.
No, I don't. You and betting is not. It's become not fun anymore.
No, betting against me is real fun. Just ask Dustin. No.
Anyway, so I just wanted to clear the slate on that whole situation for those who are inquiring.
It's a good point, because sometimes you get caught up in life and your addiction, and like you said, if they're not coming to pick you up, they're not sending you letters. I don't know. I really don't think many people are going to raise their hand and go, "Hey, Mr. Were you guys going to punish me today? Because I